amazing, Lori. Thank you. You're such a great educator. And my name's Victoria Lawson, for anybody here that doesn't know me. And I am so grateful, Dr. Karlfeldt and Misty, for taking time to, hop on this and share. And I know that everybody's busy and you guys are so busy. I'm going to launch in here in a minute to introducing both of them. They are really local. I want to say local celebrities, but really that's expanded far beyond that. They're just such amazing members of this community and far beyond. So I want to share super quickly just how I connected with them. And I love all the unfolding of synchronicities that, brought us together. When I left allopathic medicine and became very disconnected with that, with being on the reactive side, I then wanted to step into, natural medicine and being on the preventative side. And I actually initially connected with Misty and then was able to meet Dr. Karlfeldt. And there at his clinic, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, but they really took me under their wing and really showed me the path of natural healing. I didn't know about that, but I wanted to know about it, and just ever so grateful. And, you both have become just really near and dear to my heart and great friends. And I'm so blessed that you're here. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Dr. Karlfeldt and his stunning wife, Misty, and then I will go ahead and hand it over to them. So Dr. Michael Karlfeldt is originally from Sweden. He's a board certified naturopath, PhD, with the largest healing sanctuary in this area, which is located in Meridian, Idaho. And there at his clinic, they have very much state-of-the-art technology and practitioners. They specialize in, I'm not probably going to go into everything, but I'll just hit on a couple. They help with hormones, digestive health, some naturopathic oncology, some pain management. So I would highly recommend, if you are local, or even if you're not local, because he does phone consultations and whatnot, you have to connect with him and his practitioners and his amazing healing center that he has. And I'm going to put in the comments how you can, reach him and his clinic and whatnot. And you're welcome to reach out to me personally. I am so excited to also introduce the ever so beautiful Misty Karlfeldt. She is a brilliant entrepreneur, a devoted mother of 4. She has her own phenomenal journey of healing and supporting the body for balance through natural modalities. She's also an enormous lover and advocate of freedom, liberty, and personal choice over our bodies. Her and all of her colleagues, amazing, are fighting daily for all of us to keep our healthcare rights. They're very passionate about vaccines and education and whatnot. And in 2016, she founded Health Freedom Idaho. Again, I'm going to put some information in the comments about, reaching out to Health Freedom Idaho. Very much recommend that. Just amazing people. And I've been grateful to connect with you on that journey as well. And with that being said, I would like you both to share a little bit about what you do, why you do what you do, what your philosophy is, and how this cutting edge water technology has impacted you, your family, your clinic. And I will hand it over to Dr. Michael Karlfeldt. Thank you so much.
Well, Victoria, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to follow that. That's quite an introduction. Well, yes, I'm Dr. Michael Karlfeldt. I've been in clinical practice for it's going on 34 years. So for a while, it's amazing. And one of the things that I'm really fascinated with, obviously I use a lot of nutritional modalities here at the center, but water is becoming one of those components that is so crucial in regards to healing. I mean, a gentleman that I interviewed I have a radio show called Health Made Radio that airs here locally at 5 p.m. on Sundays at KIDO. And a gentleman that I interviewed, his name is Gerald Polak. and he's a researcher, and he talks about the fourth phase of water. And with the fourth phase of water, it is actually looking at water as something that is different than what we normally see. I mean, we think of water as just something fluid we drink, and then it flushes out toxins and just kind of fills our cells, and that's all it does. You know, that it's some kind of inert material that just kind of flush things out. You know. But within the cells, they look upon it as something very living. So they actually see that it creates a specific polarization within the cells, and it's this polarization of charges within the cells. He's actually arguing that that is where we get our energy. So it's not really the mitochondria, but it's actually this polarization of charges. And so what do we need in order to be able to create that polarization? Well, obviously we need ions. So we want to have a drink water that it's an alive water and have plenty of ions. So if you have something that's very hydrogen rich, you know, talking about then the antioxidant aspect of hydrogen, but also you're looking at the charge of hydrogen. And another interview, so that was just very fascinating to talk to him about that. And he was talking about in regards to the flow of blood in the blood vessels, how that is actually taking place because of the separation of charges, and that is why blood is able to move through so well, instead of not just having the heart pumping it all through the body, but it's actually the charges that goes along the blood vessels, and that is what's allowing the blood to flow through in all these different capillaries, because the heart is not strong enough to be able to move all that blood to all the areas throughout the whole body. So again, we need water that has that separation of charges. So that was a really fascinating. And also another interview that is airing this Sunday was a gal talking about her specialty is in the inner, or it's called electrical body, electrical health. Yeah, that's the name of her book. And talking about the crucial aspect of increasing the inner voltage of our body for our health. And so the different things that you can do, and obviously again, yeah, drinking water that has that phenomenal charge that we need in order to be able to build up that inner voltage, and our bodies function like a battery. So that to be able to have a strong battery, we need to continually refuel it with the things to kind of have that inner voltage within us. So that's one of the fascinating aspects in regards to water and regards to living water, you know, ionized water that you get. Then you have the component like Lori was talking about in regards to the antioxidant. We use so we have this what's called redox processes taking place, you know, where we oxidate things. You know, we use oxidation to kill pathogens, to destroy tissue, to go after tumors, go after cells. So it's more kind of the destructive. So and that is an inflammatory process. It's kind of a killing process. And so kind of liken it upon us as a fire. You know, we're kind of burning things up. You know, we're oxidating things. We're kind of burning them up. But in order to be able to control that, we need antioxidants. So we need to have something that after we destroy that component, we want to make sure that fire stops. And so then we need antioxidant to kind of shut down that fire. And that's why it's important to continually have that supply of appropriate amount of antioxidants. And the issue nowadays is that the majority of us are in that oxidative state. We're in that kind of inflammatory state. So we are very deficient in our abilities to control inflammation and control these fires that are going on in our body. And we know that the majority of diseases are due to excessive inflammation, like cancer. You know, I do a lot of work with integrative cancer care, and we know that cancer has all these different drivers, you know, inflammatory drivers that promote the establishment of the cancer and for its ability to kind of set a foothold in areas throughout the body. So if we have tools then to quench those inflammatory processes and quench these drivers, which obviously something like, like Kangen Water with this high alkalinity and high anti-inflammatory components are very powerful in doing. So controlling then the redox, controlling inflammation, and then also the inner voltage. So it helps in all these areas. And then also another component is then the pH aspect. Another gentleman that I interviewed, his name is Robert Young. He wrote the book, The pH Miracle. And he talks a lot about our ability to be able to detoxify is very dependent on whether we're in that inflammatory state or whether we're in an acidic state. So inflammatory, acidic tend to go hand in hand. So if we then bring our bodies into more of an alkaline state, and he's actually saying he wants, so you can measure your urine, then kind of first morning urine, and he actually wants your first morning urine to be around 8.4, which in my mind, I thought, wow, that's high. But he is the one that is helping people to kind of heal from cancer and just using pH, controlling the pH. So to kind of check your morning urine, that is at 8.4. And then obviously, if you are not able to reach that, then you need more alkalinity. So then you need more Kangen water. You need to drink more of that. And in order for the body to be able to detoxify, so you look at all these toxins, and these toxins tend to be acidic substances. So if your body doesn't have an alkaline buffer, it doesn't have enough alkalinity, the body doesn't want to dump a bunch of acidic stuff into the bloodstream if it doesn't have any alkaline buffer to be able to deal with that, because you don't want to pour something acidic on a wound that's already agitated. So we need to bring out that buffer, and when we bring in alkalinity, then the detoxification process can then kick in, and so it becomes really crucial for our ability to detoxify. And detoxification is what's called a parasympathetic. So you have the sympathetic aspect of the nervous system, and parasympathetic of the nervous system, and the detoxification is a parasympathetic component. But the sympathetic is the inflammatory, or where you go out and kill and you destroy cancer cells or pathogens or whatever it may be. But if you're locked in that sympathetic state, you're not able to detoxify. So it is crucial then to be able to move it into an alkaline state, which also becomes a parasympathetic, which also becomes a detoxification state, and also regenerative. That's where tissue can regenerate and heal. So if you're in an inflammatory state, your tissue is not able to heal. So that's why it becomes really, really important to make sure that you are in that non-inflammatory alkaline state with pH buffer, and also a high amount of antioxidants to be able to control the fire, control the inflammation. Another interesting thing that he mentioned, also Robert Young, talking about, we always think about our stomach. We want to make sure that our stomach is as acidic as possible, and so we need to give it acid things. And we so an interesting thing that he said was that the body needs bicarbonates, or it needs these alkaline substances in order to be able to function. And actually the stomach needs that, and as a byproduct it produces hydrochloric acid. So if it doesn't have enough of the alkaline buffers, it is not able to produce the byproduct hydrochloric acid that we then use to kill pathogens and also kind of break down some of the proteins aspects. So that was really, really fascinating, that in order to be able to us to have the polarity, meaning they be able to produce this, because we're always so nervous, we drink alkaline water, but what is it going to do with our stomach acid? So now I can't digest food. But in reality, what happens is that you're not neutralizing your acids. What you're doing is that you're giving your body the components that it needs in order to be able to produce a byproduct, which is a hydrochloric acid, to then be able to digest your food. So it's really fascinating how you can then hit on so many areas that are crucial in regards to your health. just by supplying then something that is so fundamental, which is your water. And in regards to health, it's always crucial to go back to the fundamentals. You know, you can look at all these, you know, fancy supplements and fancy, I mean, we do a lot of fancy things here at the center, but if you don't have the fundamentals, you have nothing to build on. You know, to do something, you know, to put a nice decoration on the cake that doesn't have anything in it, you still don't want to eat it, you know, so you still need to have a nice foundation. So, yeah, those my little tidbits, and obviously it's something that I highly recommend to all my patients, and I'm really glad everyone that is using it, and we use it in our home. I have it here at the center, and I'd love for my beautiful wife to take over, and she can tell more of the practical aspects, you know, what we do with it in our home and how that's impacting her. And she's a better speaker. I love hearing her voice much more.
You just scienced everybody on Zoom, babe. That's not anything I can do. It's like a verb. You're sciencing people. Me too, because I don't always get to hear that stuff. He saves his brain for special events like this. So I would say, I thank you for the very kind introduction, Victoria. That was exceptionally kind, and I hope that I don't disappoint anybody after that kind of introduction. But I would say I have an autoimmune disease. I have polyarteritis nodosa. It's literally 1 in a million, so it's extremely rare. But obviously, when you have an autoimmune disease, you're in this inflammatory state all the time. And I'm doing all these things to bring down the inflammation. You know, I'm doing IVs at the center. I'm eating right. I don't eat inflammatory foods. I'm making all these decisions. Well, I mean, to overlook water is overlooking the biggest key, right? And so we had a filter, just kind of the common filter in the fridge. But when Victoria told me about this Kangen machine, I was interested. My curiosity was piqued when I saw what came off of the produce, even organic produce, what was coming off of that. And we wash our produce. We're very thorough, you know, trying to get all that off. And so they offered to come over to my house and experiment with my food and even the things we had already washed. And oh my gosh, I couldn't believe what was coming off of it. So, and also funny story, I had actually spilled some turmeric, wasn't it turmeric on my sofa, my brand new sofa, and it had this bright orange stain on it. We had just moved into our house, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this just happened. And then they came over, they were like, well, let's try the waters. You guys, we got it out of my sofa with the waters. I was like, okay, stain removal. I'm getting my produce clean. I'm spending a lot of money on organic, non-GMO, the freshest produce I can possibly get. And now I feel like it's taking that food to the next level. And I mean, not even to mention the key, which is having really good water for my body. So we did end up getting one, and I use it religiously. I have people who come over and they want to fill up their jugs before they go home so they can take home some Kangen water. I'm like, be my guest. We got the filters, the pre-filters. Victoria was awesome, sent me a website where I could put in my address, and it told me exactly what filters I needed. So it's going through this extra filtration process at my house and then coming out, you know, with alkaline water. And I feel like for my own health, but also my children, I couldn't be doing better than what we're doing. I feel like we're doing the very best we can. And in a world that's toxified, you know, it toxifies us everywhere. Our air, our water, our food, our showering water. I mean, we're just in a constant toxic bombardment. So I want to give my healthy children the best chance they have to make it through this toxic world. And my body that needs some extra help, the most help it can get to heal and keep living a full life to the fullest extent that I can. Is there anything else you wanted me to touch on, Victoria?
No, that was amazing. I mean, look at this phenomenal power couple. You guys are amazing and just balance each other out so well. And thank you so much for sharing all of that, Michael and Misty.
Well, and also, talking about our detergents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wash our clothes in it. I use it as a toner spray. I try to be religious about taking a picture of the 6.0 water and pouring that over after a hot shower, but it's cold, right? But I'm telling you, when I do it religiously, I have so many compliments on my hair. So it's a great rinse. What else do we use it for? We use it for cleaning. Oh, I soak my rice and my beans. You would not believe what comes off of organic beans. I'm just saying, you got to see it to believe it.
And also, honey, when we first started using it, I mean, physically, I mean, what did you experience then?
Well, Victoria had been kind enough to give me some gallons, right? And I definitely noticed that I craved it when I didn't have it. I was like, I can't wait to get where can I fill up these gallons, right? Until my machine gets here. And then we went on vacation. And so sometimes you have these slow things that you don't necessarily notice, like, oh, it's the water and I feel great. But I'll tell you, when I did notice it is when I didn't have it. And we went on vacation and I was getting like Fuji water and trying to, I mean, I don't drink out of the tap water, but I was like, I love it here in Mexico, babe, but I'm ready to go home and get my water. I feel better with it. I feel better with that water. So it reminds me, actually, we have family that live up north and they've got a well, and I crave that water. And whenever we would go visit, I would take jugs so I could fill up that water. I get the same kind of craving with the Kangen water, where I notice I don't have it. My body starts craving it. I get in the door after a long day, even though I pack a lot of water with me, I always run out and I'm like, oh, I'm so thirsty. So I'm ready. So I've been really grateful. And honey, I think when we first got it, we noticed that my cells, when we did the blood cell analysis, right? And my blood cells used to all stick together because they were so dehydrated and they would just clump together for survival. Well, I don't remember how many months it was after we were using the Kangen water, but we did it again and we were like, oh my gosh, look at my little happy cells floating around.
And that's a cool thing to do, is that we have, what's called live blood cell analysis here. You can take a look at your blood and you can see how healthy your red blood cells are. And so it's a cool thing to do pre and post, before starting Kangen water and after, and then kind of see the change in the red blood cells. And when you see somebody that's really sick, it's really acidic, then the cell wall membranes of the red blood cells get very inflamed, and when they're inflamed, they're very sticky. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if you have these clumps of red blood cells and they're all sticking together, they're not going to be very efficient in transporting oxygen to tissue. And obviously, if you don't get oxygen to cells, then they have no oxygen to turn into energy. So it's really fascinating to see the change. And and then we saw that in your blood. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The evidence is there. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm very glad we have it. I'm glad you have it at the center. It's something that I would not give up. I know it's an expense, but like I tell my family and friends when we talk about how we eat, it is much more expensive to deal with sickness than it is to be preemptive and keep it away. And I'm a living example of that. So for my children who have had a nice, healthy start, that cost is obviously totally worth it as they go out into the world with their strong, healthy bodies. And for me, I'm so, so grateful to have the opportunity to have something like this that is life-sustaining.
Wow. All I can say is wow. That was incredible. Absolutely. I mean, I could sit here and listen if you have more to say, please do, because I'm just glued. I know all of us are. Thank you so much, Misty. Thank you so much, Dr. Karlfeldt. You two are just incredible. I mean, the energy, the wisdom. I love the wisdom. I love the practical information. I love the personal stories. The wisdom of the body is incredible, and your wisdom explaining the wisdom of the body to us tonight has been just wonderful. I keep using incredible a million times. It's the only word I can think of to describe what I just got to listen to. Such a gift to have you here and to be sharing what you shared with us. And I know that this is changing lives right now tonight. I'm telling you, I've had my machine for 7 years, and I'm more excited tonight listening to you, Dr. Karlfeldt and Misty, than in the past 7 years. I'm more excited now. So how beautiful is that the more we get to learn about this incredible creation we walk around in called the body, that's so wise and so miraculous in every way, and what we can do to help it. And everything that you, Dr. Michael Karlfeldt, everything that you talked about, I know that we all just learned so much. This has been an incredible gift, valuable, life-changing. So how many people can we share this with that need what he's teaching and what Misty is sharing, what both of you are sharing, is changing people in the best ways and helping people to believe in that wisdom of their body. So thank you. I'm just so incredibly grateful that you're here. Thank you for your time and all of that beautiful wisdom and heartfelt information. You're awesome, and I'm so appreciative.
I'm so glad to help. Honestly, I'm really glad to have the opportunity to get the word out. You two work so hard, and your hearts are so beautiful, and you're so passionate about truly helping people. So I was just honored to be asked, and I hope that, I know Dr. Karlfeldt did, of course. I hope that we both were able to help people understand the importance and really the practical applications, and how, you know, the cost is there up front, but how much you save, you know, going forward, and especially all the plastics and crap we put into the world, right? Not using detergents and sprays and cleaners. I feel like not only is it benefiting my body, but it's better for the environment. I do appreciate that added bonus.
And you have all, like you're saying, plastic. I mean, people think they're healthy, drink from plastic bottles, and so and most of these plastic bottles, you know, you're being careful, thinking, well, I'm going to keep it in cool place, you know, as soon as I get it, not realizing that it's probably been standing there in heat for 2 months, you know, before it got to you. So it's already a bunch of plastic in the water, and plastic is like the biggest hormonal disruptor that you can think of. And especially with, you know, all these hormonal cancers we're dealing with, breast cancer, you know, ovarian, endometrial, prostate. So one of the biggest thing to protect your health is to obviously avoid the things that are causing the disease. And, you know, so all these, you know, plasticizing agents that exist in all these water bottles, if you can just get away from that, that alone, you're a winner. So I mean, the amount of money you save just, you know, from a machine like that, and get water that is pretty much free. So you do initial investment, and then, I mean, look at all the water we got. We're 6 people, and then the amount of water we've been drinking since we gotten it. I mean, if we put that in, then how many water bottles we would have purchased, and, you know, which would have destroyed our health. I mean, what a money saver and what an investment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is exactly how I feel, babe.
Yeah.
Love that. The return on investment is not just physical, it's practical in the budget every day, right? I haven't purchased a bottle of laundry detergent in 7 years. Think about the amount of bottles that I would have been bringing home, lugging home, you know, putting in the recycling, putting in the garbage, you know, wherever they end up. That's just one of the waters. And then, you know, trying to quantify our preventative health, or, you know, the way that the body utilizes hydration, and the anti-inflammatory effects of superior hydration, and antioxidant, you know, ionized water with an alkaline pH, and the body utilizes all of that to do the work within itself. to be able to heal itself, because the body is a self-healer when it gets what we need. Obviously, that's what Dr. Karlfeldt and Miste are talking about, and they have all of those wonderful modalities and all of that incredible wisdom. And we heard life-changing wisdom tonight from both of them. And so knowing that that return on investment physically, not just within the body, but environmentally, the toxic footprint that we leave, and just the toxins that, like Miste said, are in our environment with everything in the air and the food and the water. So being able to reduce that and save money, it pays for itself very quickly. And then quantifying that lifelong return on investment for our health from all of those variables that we just touched on, and there's so many more. That's a number that, I mean, that's something we can't quantify, but it's a big number. So I love that you said that, Miste, about what is our preventative wellness worth. Of course, so valuable. Thank you again, Dr. Karlfeldt and Miste. I am just so grateful for your time, for your wisdom, for your heart, and for what you do for people every day. Thank you. Thank you for being here and for sharing with us. This is a wonderful, wonderful gift, and it's been a beautiful night. I appreciate you.
Truly my honor.
Thank you. Why doesn't everybody go ahead and unmute yourself and share your thanks with what we just heard was incredible, and we have more wisdom we can share with other people. So everybody please unmute and say your thanks to Dr. Karlfeldt and beautiful Miste for their time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria.
Awesome information.
Hey, Lori, somebody said they wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Is it Teresa, maybe?
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
When you showed the water in the beginning as being oxidizing and then others being an antioxidant, does it matter? I actually have two questions. Does it matter what pH you're using of the Kangen water in order to get the benefits of the antioxidant water?
So the drinking water in the machine has 3 different pH values, which are a byproduct of the antioxidant. So Dr. Karlfeldt said it very well. Things that are inflammatory are acidic and typically oxidizing, right? So those all go hand in hand. So things that are anti-inflammatory, antioxidizing will be the alkalizing. So the machine makes 5 different kinds of water, 7 different waters, 3 of them being different antioxidant values, which will have negative ORP. That negative ORP, that means oxidative reduction potential, or the potential to reduce oxidation, just like Dr. Karlfeldt was talking about with reducing that oxidation. So the higher that number is, or the higher that negative is, the stronger it will be. So to answer your question, those drinking waters, there's 3 different values of those drinking waters. The machine will make a stronger antioxidant. And then it does make the acidic waters, which have many uses, just like Dr. Karlfeldt was talking about. So we use the acidic waters for, specifically a really great one right now is our 2.5 water, highly acidic water, that when this device combines the highly acidic water with the salt solution that is used only to make the 2.5 and 11.5, it makes something called hypochlorous acid, which is a powerful sanitizer and disinfectant. So that's going to have a different value to it. So when I'm measuring, and if hopefully I'm understanding your question correctly, but when I'm measuring these, they're going to have these different values with this machine, which is simply an ORP machine that typically is used for fish tanks. Believe it or not, a lot of times it's used for saltwater fish tanks, but it measures that. Basically, it's measuring I guess, for lack of a better word, voltage. To just kind of, in like layman's terms, like it's a voltage. It's showing the aspect, whether it's, I always say dead or alive. I like that. Living food has living phytonutrients, living enzymes, all of these wonderful vitamins and minerals and all of these living things that the body can utilize, and water's the same way. We all know we can eat dead food, processed food, fast food, food that fills the belly but has no nutrition, which I call dead food, has nothing to give the body cells to work with, to do all of the functions and the processes that the cells are doing, the trillions of cells every single day that have all of these jobs to do. So the living aspect in food is the same thing with water. So when we can measure that, we're showing the living aspect of that. So the water that has the positive charge, that's going to be the acidic waters. The negative charge is the alkalizing waters. Did
So
I?
is the 7 something still give you antioxidant?
So
I know I can't remember, it's 9 or what, 9.5, and
yes,
what are the,
yeah. So what's going on with the so this is the mineral rich water that we can electrolyze and be able to create that living aspect. So the 7.0 water is the basic filtered water. So that's not ionized, that's not electrolyzed, that's just filtered water. When we get up to the 8.59 and 9.5, now we're electrolyzing the water and we're making available what I showed very quickly, that hydrogen value. And Dr. Karlfeldt, if I'm explaining, if you have a better way of explaining that,
well, let me ask my question. I've been on the water and I love the water. And then at the beginning of the year, I did a detox with the medical medium detox. And he said during the detox not to use alkalized water and to keep it at like a 7.5 or something like that. And I was really confused about it, about why I've been doing it, the 8.5, 9, 9.5. But during the detox, he said not to use it. And I wondered if that's really true, that we should be doing the 7.5 or the lower, the clean water.
Well, there are a lot of things I love about the medium, and one of the things that book did was to bring out our appreciation for celery juice.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm not completely in line with the number of things that's in the book, because a lot of times when you have a book, you want to kind of package your message in a very clean and understandable way, but a lot of times it isn't that clean and it isn't that simplistic. So just physiologically, in order to be able to get acids out of the body, and like I was explaining, you need to have that alkaline buffer. And if you don't have that, then the body's going to hold on to those acids. He talks a lot about the Epstein-Barr virus as being a driver for disease. I believe that is a factor, but I think there are many more factors that are involved, than Epstein-Barr. So for the Epstein-Barr, he's wanting them to do very specific things, that he's focusing just on the Epstein-Barr, and I'm not in line with really that. Just kind of neutral water is the best thing to do for that. I mean, because I think the less stress you put on the immune system, obviously a lot of heavy metals, chemicals, if you're not able to move toxins out of the lymphatic system, that lymphatic system is going to be, the immune system is going to be very confused. The white blood cells that are flowing in the lymphatic system is going to be very confused. And it's not going to be very efficient in fighting off things like, Epstein-Barr or, cytomegalovirus or, Lyme or herpes or whatever it may be. So in order to be able to clean up that lymphatic, the interstitial fluid or, the lymphatic, it becomes really important. And the alkaline, if you're using more of the alkaline, you're going to be able to drive more of those toxins out of the system. And I feel you're much better at detoxifying if you do that.
So do you use the 8.5 or the 9 or the 9.5? What do you use?
Yeah, I'm kind of like go big or go home. No, I do the 9.2, and usually, and the issue that some people have, when you do if you're starting and you do 9.2 immediately, then you can start to move too much too quickly. And so you want to kind of start a little gradually and see how you're doing, because otherwise you'll feel achy, get headaches, you get joint ache, feel a little bit fatigued, because the body is trying to move too many things too fast. And especially we live in such a toxic world, like my wife was saying. So it's that, and as soon as a body feel like it has the ability to dump the toxins out, it's going to be shouting from joy and think that is the coolest thing that it can do. So it's just going to move all these metals and chemicals out as quickly as possible, not really caring how you feel, you know, because that becomes secondary. But obviously we think that I'd like to be able to do my job today, you know, but the body's just thinking, I want to get this garbage out, you know. So it's good to start then a little bit lower and then kind of monitoring and see how you're responding.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that answer. I appreciate that so much, and a great question. Does anybody else have any questions? I think we're over in time, so I don't want to take too much time of Dr. Karlfeldt's evening. So I think if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I think we will let them have their evening. And thank you again so much. Such great information. I learned so much tonight, and so grateful. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Dr. Karlfeldt. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Victoria, and everyone that's on. And we have these every Thursday night at the same time. So whoever invited you cares about you very much, and that's why you're here. This is an incredible, compassionate place to be. Obviously, we just received incredible wisdom from wonderful people that we can take with us the rest of our lives. So you were cared about and invited. So so thank the person who invited you. And if you have questions, go back to them and they will give you more information. So thank you so much. Have a great night. I appreciate you all. This has been wonderful. All right. Blessings to everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victoria.